In today's episode of the Main Yarn podcast called Pierre le Pingouin,
we've got a sneak peek for you of Club KnitWit's first ever knitting pattern.
Yeah, and we're going to share some tips for adjusting patterns and what to do if you happen to run out of yarn.
And I've got some thoughts on how to get started crocheting if you've never done it.
Yeah, how to make your own baby sweater.
And of course, we have a lot of laughs. So grab your projects, get ready, and let's get knitting.
Welcome to episode 80 of the Main Yarn podcast, brought to you by KnitWit Yarn Shop.
Woohoo!
Woo!
And hopefully we'll get the technology working. This is take 3.
Take 3. Yeah.
I feel like I did this once before when we were at the retreat last summer.
Yeah.
I did a little interview and then I'm like, well, I took a picture of the beginning of that interview. So
We've all done it. We've all
Sorry.
done it. So now we're super professional. What are we going to be covering today, Jen?
We're going to be covering the stitch that I split on the row before.
Okay.
And then we will talk about what we're wearing.
Yeah, we'll talk about some finished objects.
Yes, and what we're currently working on.
And then what we want to work on next.
Yes, and we'll round it out with shop talk.
Yeah, we didn't even have to follow the guide that time.
No, I think we've got it memorized.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive.
We do the same thing. This is the 80th time doing the same thing. We still need to do it. But that's
and
not
it still
true.
cracks us up.
Yes. It's not true
Easy
actually,
to-
though.
No, not 80.
No, because we didn't used to do what we're wearing. Right? When we were first audio only, we didn't used to do what we were wearing. So that's a newish segment.
I
for
thought
us.
you meant today for takes.
Yeah, no, it's not Take 80. No, it's just the 80th podcast.
That's right. We have done this 80 times, but not always on camera.
Yeah.
We used to be a little more paranoid, and it was before 9/11. It was not before 9/11 that we started this. It was before COVID.
Well, right, it was before COVID.
It was not before 2001.
No.
We haven't been doing it that long.
I've been talking to myself since before 2001.
I didn't know you back
but
then.
I wasn't recording it. Yeah.
But back then, I used to commute a lot before COVID.
Yeah.
And I would listen to audio podcasts. So that was sort of what I thought we would do, was that everyone could listen to audio. But now it seems like people like video.
Yeah, because we're not commuting as much,
We're
so
not
we can
commuting.
watch.
So
yeah.
when we're sitting at home knitting, and we want some friends to knit with, that's what we're here for.
An earth-shattering realization is that people want to see what we're talking about.
What?
That's crazy talk.
And
So-
now we got this fancy camera, so you can actually see our stitches if they are meaningful.
Yeah.
But if you're still listening on audio, we will remember you and try to describe things.
Yeah, let's
So,
do that.
Have we talked about what you're wearing yet on this take?
On this take, no.
Oh, okay. So
we
what
have
are you
not.
wearing, Julie?
So I am wearing the second Ranunculus that I made. Ranunculus is a pattern by Midori Hirose. I still have a hard time saying that. So thank you, Midori. But I loved it so much I made it twice. This is the second one. And it's the one I've talked about, but I don't know if I've showed it on the video
I don't know.
podcast.
Maybe not.
But I ran out of the original yarn that I bought, which happens, I'm going to say, because we're taller and we tend to make them longer. So
This pattern, it depends on the
Maybe.
yarn you use, but this
Yeah.
pattern is kind of cropped and shortish sleeved.
Yeah.
I added many, many inches to mine.
Yeah. And when I added it, I came up with this cool effect, which was a little bit not on purpose, a little bit on purpose.
I think it looks amazing.
Thank you. This yarn is a different dye lot where the kind of almost bell sleeve starts.
And
I
we
think
switch to the other camera and show it up close. So
if you look very carefully, you can see that the color is different.
But
this is the original.
Tell
this
it's
is
different so much because
I changed the pattern.
The stitch pattern there.
Yeah. So on purpose, I made it I think it's a 2 purl 1 twist stitch knit rib down to here, and then it became the regular end of the the pattern.
Probably didn't need to do.
Probably not, but I'm a rule follower.
No, you're not.
So I'm a creative
That's
rule
me.
follower. But this, I like how it changed it, and because I think I was using the same needle size, it's just kind of a flowy sleeve, versus making it super tight.
Yeah, so that's a great tip if you run out of a dye lot, or if you run out of a
really
yarn
kinda see it
altogether
there.
and want to
There's the line.
you want to finish your project,
Yeah.
but you want to but you can't get any more of the yarn.
Yeah.
change your stitch pattern or make it the cuffs and the
Yeah.
collar. Like, do it something so it's like you
It
meant to
looks-
do it,
yeah.
and don't just be like, all right, this sleeve is a different color, right?
Yes.
You might have to pull some out a little bit
Yeah.
to get there, but if you're liking the project, that's a good way to salvage things.
Yep. Yep.
And a lot of yarns will change drastically from dye lot to dye lot.
Yeah.
Especially the hand dyed, kind of the really nice stuff tends to.
Or even within the yarn. These socks actually do that, but I'm not gonna pull both socks up on the table.
Okay.
But these are my missing
hand dyed socks definitely.
Yeah.
Hand dyed yarns. I mean.
Yeah, they
They're-
actually look different.
And
look
that's
closely.
part of the charm too.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted all exactly the same crayon color, like you could just go to the store and buy it.
Yeah.
So.
What about you? What are you wearing?
What
today?
am I wearing? I'm wearing this sweater, which is the Castaway tee, I think it might be called, or just the Castaway, designed by Elizabeth Smith,
Yeah.
our friend here in Maine.
Yeah.
And it is made in Quince & Company's Wren yarn, which is a 50-50 wool and cotton blend.
Nice.
And it's nice for this time of year when I don't want something too warm, but I still want something.
April in Maine.
Yeah,
we should
where it's
clarify.
cloudy. Yesterday
Yeah.
was gorgeous and sunny, but today is all cloudy and rainy, so who knows? I hear it's supposed to be 68 degrees here tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
I know, heat
So
wave.
68 Fahrenheit, which is
No
probably
idea.
20 Celsius.
I don't know.
What else are you wearing?
What else am I
Oh,
wearing?
look at that,
Oh yeah, now it's time to flash people, right? I'm gonna.
Now's the time.
Yeah, so Main Yarn Podcast t-shirts. If you want
Yay.
to show your Main Yarn Podcast love, these are available too.
Yeah.
And finally, I have a pair of hand knit socks, which I made out. I'm not pulling my foot up. It came, I think it's Symphony Yarns. It's called. It's a newer brand. This is their yarn called Terra,
It's very nice.
and I did it on my sock machine, so it didn't take very long. And they just sent me a sample skein to test out. But yeah,
Nice saturated colors
it is.
that you can't see.
And it's with a mock rib, which
Yeah.
means I start. So something interesting about sock machines, like there's a ribber, and I got one of our listeners actually contacted me after I first started talking about it. Said she had a ribber she wasn't using, and so we did a little swap. I gave her some yarn for her ribber, and I haven't figured it out yet. So all I've done so far is mock ribs, and
Yeah.
circular sock machines are not as easy as you might think if you're just watching someone demonstrate.
Yeah,
so you start
I've
out
tried it.
with all 60 needles, and then like after the cuff you take out
Yeah.
every fourth needle, but you don't, on a circular sock machine the needles don't come closer when when you
Yeah.
take one out, they're still on the same circle. So with every fourth one out it kind of looks like a little bit of ribbing.
Yeah.
So it's called a mock rib, and it's pretty easy.
Yep. Cool.
But then, I mean, putting the needles in and taking them out is tricky too. And if you drop, it just goes the fastest yarn running ever, stitch running, because it's all like weighted down.
Yes.
And so
literally with weights attached to it.
yeah. Or else the sock machine won't work if you
Yeah.
don't have enough weights on the sock pulling it down, which is kind of creepy for a hand knitter to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. By the way, I just want to give myself credit. 68 degrees Fahrenheit is exactly 20 degrees Celsius.
Wow. Now,
You've little faith.
I didn't question. Okay.
I wasn't sure.
All right. I think that's it for what we are wearing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on to finished objects.
Yeah.
We are starting with one of yours.
Yeah,
And what's that?
This is my third, actually my fourth technically, but my third woven scarf on one of my looms. This is on my Sample It loom. So it's not super wide. This is as wide as that loom goes.
And that is a rigid heddle loom.
Rigid heddle loom. Don't pay attention to this. Nothing to see here.
Don't point out your mistakes.
I know, I can't help it. So I'm getting better at it. I'm still having issues with the edge sometimes, to be honest, but I'm working on it. But I love the colors, and this is the first one I've made. I made it specifically 8 feet long, as opposed to 6 feet or less.
Yeah.
8 feet is just right if you're taller. 6 feet or less is kind of a small scarf.
How long does it take to make an 8-foot scarf
Not as long as you'd think.
on a loom?
Not that long. And it depends on the yarn and the, I'm going to forget, the dents. Anyway, the size. Basically just like a needle size.
Yeah.
This one, if you look, the yarn's a worsted weight. And I think it was a 10 DPI that I used. But I didn't make it super, super tight. But I like the way it came out. I like the way it kind of looks like spotted almost. And I alternated my colors. That's the first time I've done that on purpose, trying to keep to a pattern that I invented. So there is some logic to it, even though it may look a little bit random. Again, there are errors, but I won't point them out.
Go to the big camera.
Okay.
And you can like hold it up.
And then this is how long 8 feet, an 8-foot scarf turns out, which is just the right length, right? You know, you can do this.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, I could like put it around my neck and that was it. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't really tie it much.
Well, yeah, it doesn't look huge, but when you say 8 foot, it
Yes.
sounds humongous.
Yes,
you know?
it does. When you lose a little bit because you've got to cut it off the loom.
Yeah.
But I did this on our road trip. So we have a Ford F-350 truck. My husband's driving. I've got the Sample It loom, which is like this big.
They're over there.
This big, right? And then it's got a little notch cut out the back. I don't know if you can picture on a loom. It's got a little notch. And what I figured out early on is I open up the glove box of the truck. I put the notch on the glove box. And it's perfect. You can do it not while you're driving.
Well, good.
While you're riding.
Yes.
So it actually didn't take as long as you'd think to make this.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't time myself though. Much quicker than knitting.
And Snowball's here.
And Snowball's here.
Hi, Snow.
Hi. We just got that light, the camera in the right place. Oh well.
No, it was
fine.
The shot when
It was okay.
Oh, there goes the Snowball.
Oh well.
All right.
So that's one
Tech
thing I
support's
finished.
Yeah. All right. What did I finish? I don't have it with me, but I finished my Desperate Housewife sweater finally.
Okay.
And I've been wearing it
Great.
all over the place.
Yes, it's
All right.
very nice.
Snowball. It's like the rainbow stripe that I got from the Emma's Yarn Advent Kit.
Yep.
And then I made like a gray background with a little fox vixen.
Nice.
And I've talked about it for the last couple episodes at least, so you know what's going on with it. But I used like every inch of that yarn because I was like weighing it out to make sure I had a right amount so I could keep the sleeve repeats going. Mm-hmm. And when we got down to like, all right, I'm done with the body. I've got like this much left for the sleeve. We want to make sure we get even sleeves on each sleeve. Then like
Even
Julie took both ends and walked like the other side of the house, and then I told the other, so we had it exactly in half, and I cut it, and then like that's how much I have for a sleeve. And so some of them got a little bit shorter than others, like some were 4 rounds and some were 5. Yeah, but you can't really tell.
No, you can't. And the sleeves are the same length.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so even sleeve-ins is the name I submit for that concept.
Well, the problem I have with that pattern though is the neck is just huge. Yeah. Like it's okay when I button the top few buttons, but still, like it's not just a cardigan I can put on and just like wear it around without buttoning the top few, because it just kind of falls down. Yeah. I don't know if I made the size too big because it is a little bit floppy, but I did fudge the size a little too because I went with a bigger yarn and I went down a size, and it should have worked, but it ended up a little bit big. Yeah. But it's okay. I still love it, and I've worn it a lot. But I didn't bring it down here. It's still upstairs. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Sorry.
Walk up the stairs.
Yeah, I'll sudden snowball after it. All right, what do you got next?
I got to do this one because I got to save the best for last.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm going to talk about one that I don't have with me because I think I've got a couple of mittens, but I finished my mitten train on the trip, and then I launched into the other things. So there'll be some mittens on the show notes, but I'm going to go right to my Moab hat because we went to Utah and West Virginia, and we've been to Utah several times, Four Corners area. Always, it turns out, in the summer, where it's 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm going to say is about 40 centigrade and Celsius, and I feel more confident now. So it's always like super, super hot in the summer. So my husband and I both were like, "Man, we don't really need that many warm clothes." I didn't bring a knitted hat. It was snowing, you guys. It was snowing while we were there. It was so cold. So
April.
In April, yeah.
Okay.
So I made this hat, and I actually made it on the drive. Yeah, I actually made it on the drive from. I gotta center it. I made it on the drive from Utah to West Virginia, but it's made with Malabriga Rios in the color chameleon, which is appropriate for Utah because they have chameleons,
Okay.
I believe. And let's take it up. I'll put it on just so you can see. And it's, if you look on Ravelry, I like started one day, finished the next day because we just, we're driving and I was knitting. So
Awesome.
So that's my Moab hat.
Nice.
What about you?
Well, I've got Pierre. So here's Pierre.
Why is he French? I don't know.
Well, because
Le pingouin.
he's purple.
Yeah, he's a purple penguin. He's penguin.
There's a blue one too.
Oh, cool.
But this is the purple one. It's
Pierre or
adorable.
Le penguin. We're gonna do it in French.
My sister told me that like yesterday or the day before was National or International Penguin Day or something.
Okay.
And I said, well, yesterday was local yarn store day, and she
Yeah.
didn't know that. So
Yeah.
we combined the two, and I made a yarn penguin. Anyways,
Nice.
this is.
Did you know that before when you started the penguin?
Yes, I made
Okay.
this in a day.
Yeah.
To say
nice.
that, isn't he adorable?
Nice.
This is a Woobles kit.
Yeah.
So we grab the bag.
Yeah. You want
So-
it here? Or
No, I'll just hold it.
Yeah.
So these kits, we have them in the store. There's different animals. It comes with everything you need except for a pair of scissors to make this guy. Comes with your crochet hook and your tapestry needle
Yep.
and your stitch markers. It even comes with, so this first magic ring, where how you start our amigurumis, already done for you in the bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's tricky,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
like where you start. And
Yeah.
so they snowball.
snowball.
Excuse the tech support.
Don't
Yes.
don't sit on that though.
It is, yeah, so it comes pre-started, and it comes with all these videos. So you get a code, and you can log into the site. And basically, you could have never picked up yarn or a crochet hook before in your whole life and be
you
able
can
to
do
create
it.
this.
That's
Maybe not in a
nice.
day, but you would be able to make this really quickly.
Yeah.
And it was just, so even if you're just looking to learn how to crochet, maybe not to make these, it's a great place to start. Like, you'll get used to holding the crochet hook, you'll learn the single crochets and an increase and a decrease, and then like some attaching things, how I attach these little guys. So I would highly recommend these. It was a lot of
It's
fun.
a gift. A
Yeah.
gift for someone too who wants to learn how to crochet.
Yeah, and not, I mean, even someone who's a little bit younger too, because like I said, the instructions, it's like a list of videos, and they're like anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute long,
Yeah.
where it's like, all right, here's the next thing you do,
Yeah.
and you do it, and it just demonstrates it, and then like you click next, and then it'll play the next video.
Yeah.
So definitely meant for absolute beginners, and if you are interested in making little cuties or anything else, so now I like really want to do it. I've got some, well, I'll talk about that later and what we want to work on next.
Yeah.
But that's Pierre.
Nice.
my new little
Bonjour,
friend.
Pierre. We got French in there.
Okay.
His name is Pierre. He's obviously French.
Obviously.
Obviously. Very nice.
All right. What else you got?
And then this is the big thing I finished. So it goes. I do want to say that
Color looks familiar.
yeah, this is this is the Mabel. So while on my trip, by the way, I left with all these works in progress or things that I was just hadn't even started, and I came back with a new sweater, a new scarf, a new hat, and a new job.
Congrats.
Thanks. But anyway, I happened to have an interview while I was out there. But this is the Mabel sweater, and I love it. And it's in Luft. So
Woolfolk.
ein bisschen Deutsch. Yeah, Woolfolk. Luft, which is German for air. And that's exactly what it feels like. So now I kind of, we'll talk about that and what I want to make next. But it's very light.
Yeah,
so
it's a great yarn.
If you travel a lot.
And it's bulky too, so
It's bulky.
goes fast.
It goes fast, but if you travel a lot, you can squish it up and it takes up no weight in your suitcase. So.
Yes, the Mabel I made, let's say we made 2 Mabels in
Yes.
exactly the same size.
Yeah.
Mine weighs probably twice as much. Literally. And even if it's
Yeah.
exactly the same yarn,
Yeah.
because I use a thicker yarn. So mine is
Yeah.
a much warmer sweater.
Yeah.
They're both wonderful, but it serves a different purpose.
Thicker or heavier. And
it's denser.
More dense. This one is
it's a
wool
chainette.
blown with Pima cotton inside.
No.
No.
It's a cotton chainette blown full of wool.
Okay.
I
Other
believe.
way around. It feels the other way around. Feels like the cotton's on the inside.
I don't think so.
We're going to have to look that up.
Okay.
But anyway, it's some kind of wool and cotton thingy, and it's very light and squishy and feels good.
Because it's not it's not spun yarn. It's blown yarn.
Yeah.
Where they take like a tube of like this cotton tube, I believe, and just blow wool fibers in it. And you can sort of see the tube in this colorway, not in all of them.
Yeah, you can.
But in this colorway, the tube is white, and then it's blown full of these gorgeous purple fibers. So it makes a really cool effect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting.
So
I see what you mean. For me, it feels like the wool's on the outside, but it could just be that it's kind of migrated.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. This yarn that the Woobles came with is sort of like that too, but it's very different. It's just the tube. Actually, there's something inside it, but this is definitely not wool.
Yeah.
But it's not going to split on you,
Yeah.
so it's good for beginners.
Yeah.
So very different, but similar.
Very nice.
All right.
And what have you got other finished objects?
I think so. Let me see. I feel like I did.
I feel like you did
All right,
something.
the socks I talked about.
Oh, yeah.
The ones I'm
Yeah.
wearing. So I'm not going to talk about those again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pressed flowers shawl, which is in the shop now, so I don't have that one either. But I feel like I've shown it a million
I
times.
believe you. I've seen it.
Yes. I taught a class on it yesterday.
Nice.
We had people come in and we kind of walked through the interesting things about that. It's a mosaic pattern.
Yeah.
So that means you only use one color per row. But it looks like color work because you're doing slip stitches. And it is... Yeah, I did it in Ultra Alpaca and, excuse the cat, Lang Frida, which is a slow kind of color changing watercolory sort of looking thing. And I did the flowers in that and the white background. It came out really pretty.
Yeah,
so
it did.
The charts, I taught them it starts with a provisional cast on, so we went over that. And we went over just the mosaic concept in general, but it's all pretty doable.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Did they finish anything else? Did you finish anything else?
No, I just said mittens, but I didn't show them.
Okay.
So that's
Lots
it.
of mittens.
Yeah.
You done with your mitten train now?
I'm done with the mitten train.
Whew.
It's not happening again.
All right. Excellent.
So moving to what we're working on, this is the beginning of one of my smoky socks. I just thought it might be cool to show the beginning. And what I do, my new way of making socks, I start with a square, I turn it into a heel, I turn the heel, I pick up stitches, I go around, and then I make this. And I'm doing the top in a rib, which makes for a more forgiving fit on the foot of the sock. So that's the sock. And then what I'm going to do, I'm on the second sock right now, so this is still in progress. But then when I'm done, I'm going to pick up and knit the leg. And then I could always finish all of the yarn because I just go until I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm working on.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. Right now, I am working on this bad boy. So this is this is called What the Fade. I started this a while ago. This is a giant Andrea Mowry shawl, and it's gorgeous. I had 6 different colors. I bought a kit years ago with 6 different colors of sock yarn meant to kind of fade.
Yeah.
And it goes blue, green, kind of oranges, and browns. So kind of through that, a little bit of yellowy greens. But it's kind of,
It's great.
reversible. Because it's all brioche for the first half, and then it does a brioche fade up, and then it does sort of the reverse fade for the rest of it back in garter stitch. So this has been super simple now, and it's something I can do while I'm talking to people or recording
Doing
a podcast.
yeah.
But yeah, this is And the yarn here is Goosey Fibers, Goosey Sock.
I love that. I have quite a bit of that.
Yes, it's good stuff.
Yes.
So that's what I'm actually working on right at the moment.
Yeah.
And what else are you working on?
So the other thing I'm working on, I know that I didn't bring it, I'm sorry, is a baby sweater. But we thought it might be helpful to talk about what I'm doing. So when I'm making a baby sweater, my niece Lacey just had a baby, a preemie baby. So no, I didn't finish the sweater before she had the baby, but it's okay because
it's not your fault because
I'm making it for a 1-year-old. Because if I make a baby sweater, it's going to fit for a week and then it gets run away. So that's my excuse. Anyway, so when making a sweater though for a baby, there's a couple things that I like to bear in mind. First of all, I would like to have a yarn that is washable,
of course,
because nobody wants to make the poor parents hand wash or dry clean baby sweaters. The second thing I try to bear in mind is that I want to make it so that the neck is big enough to go over the giant, enormous baby head the babies are born with.
Yes,
despite not having any of my own, I am aware of this fact.
That's what makes them cute.
Yes. And then all you really need to do is get the measurements of the baby. So you can either get the measurements of the actual baby if you're very fast. I'm not that way. Or you can check a yarn requirements or any other pattern that's got a schematic of a baby sweater, which, let's face it looks like this, right? Like it's going to be a T. And then what I do is I find my yarn that I might already have lying around or I might have to buy. But again, I'm looking for washable, maybe a merino, maybe it's a cotton. Anyway, think about what you want to use that's washable. Figure out my gauge, my row, and my stitch gauge.
Yeah.
Yes, what am I saying it wrong? Yep. And then just do the math, right? Do the maths if I say it in English. But do the math. You've got your T, you know how wide you need to make it, you know how long you need to make it, just knit it correctly. And then when I make the neck, I just make it more of a ballet neck, which means just make it straight across. And you can still have a button here or a button there as you wish, or sew it up on one side. But just to make sure that it's going to be, you can open it up and stick that gigantic baby head through it easily for the parents. So that's what I've been doing recently for the baby sweaters. So you said make a
gauge swatch.
Yes, make a gauge swatch.
What is a gauge swatch?
Oh, God. Well, gauge swatch is different things to different people. But to Julie, and actually I've just been reading the Patty Lyons book about this. And she's got, there's a whole, I recommend that, by the way.
What book?
The Patty Lyons book, which is called something.
Yeah, that's good.
We will get it for you.
We will.
Maybe we'll even put it on the screen if we get fancy. Probably not.
So we're going to have hopefully Patty Lyons on the podcast.
Yeah.
Later she's coming out with another book, and she'll be doing that. So we'll be talking with her in the fall sometime, I think.
And I'm sorry, Patty, if you're watching this, because I love the book and I've completely forgotten what you called it.
I can't remember the name of it either at the moment, but
and it's great.
Yeah. All right.
Knitting Bag of Tricks.
Knitting Bag of Tricks. That's right.
Patty Lyons Knitting Bag of Tricks. Over 70 something ways to save your knitting. It's too small for me to read. Anyway, Knitting Bag of Tricks is all you need to know. Patty Lyons, Lyons. But she talks about gauge swatch. Yeah, I was already doing. We've had this conversation. I already do gauge swatches. What I'm not good at is doing them big enough, washing them.
Do you really?
Yeah. But then, interestingly, I know you like to do the garter frame around yours.
Yeah.
But she's got interesting theories about that as well. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. But yes, do a gauge swatch, which means do something that's at least this big, and then measure your stitches per inch, and both across and up, and then you'll know your math. Because if you need to knit 4 inches, and it took you 10 rows to knit 1 inch, then you're going to need to knit 40 rows to make 4 inches, for example. So yes, that's how you do it.
I did. I missed
if
some
you
of
did,
that.
if 10 rows was 1 inch.
Oh, 10 rows.
And you want to do 4 inches for a baby
inch.
sweater
Okay,
until you move to the sleeves.
Yeah.
Then do 40 rows.
Yes, my brain just went somewhere. Same thing with stitch gauge.
Yes.
You count how many stitches to the inch. It's
across.
often over 4 inches. That this patterns will mention it. So you count how many of your little V's are in your 4-inch span.
Yep.
And that'll be your gauge.
Yeah.
Do it in a bunch of different places on your swatch in case something's squished or. And it's always good to wash and block your swatch the same way you would wash and block the garment.
Yes.
So you know what the fabric is going to do. And
yeah. And then again, same thing. So if it's 5 stitches per inch, and you can obviously do this in centimeters as well. But if it's 5 stitches per inch and you want your baby sweater to be in the round, let's say 8 inches, 5/8 of 40. So again, you would cast on 40 and just start knitting. Super easy.
Nice.
So,
all right. What else are we working on? That's what the segment we're in now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it for me.
Okay.
But what have you got?
What else am I working on? Well, I've still got my temperature blanket.
Nice.
Inspired by Tony Lipsy's temperature blanket. And it's getting all tied up in all my other projects. But this is March. That's as far as I am. March is not quite done yet. But
It is March and penguins. You got March of the penguins.
You're funny. This is my March square and my penguin. Lots of crocheting happening here.
I'm sorry, that might be the title.
No. Okay, so that's happening. And then I've got this, which I'm going to show. It's tiny. You can't really see much yet, but put it down. It's all tied up in my cotton yarn here, though. Let me. There we go. Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
So it's very small. You can't tell what it is yet.
But sort of.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show the whole thing during our ad break so you can take a bigger look at it. But this is the beginning of what comes in the Club KnitWit box for May.
So exciting.
Yeah. And there you go. The yarn is plush singles from On the Round. And you'll see more colors in a little bit. So don't skip over the ad break because I'm gonna show you what the project is in that one.
Nice.
But this has been fun. But it is there's little tricky bits, and this plush singles is a single yarn, obviously. So I would recommend super pointy needles if you're working this kind of a project because it's easier to get in and do your increases and pick up stuff.
Yep.
Excuse me. And I think that's all I'm working on, right?
Nice.
Is there anything else? No.
Not for me.
Alrighty.
KnitWit Yarn Shop has created an exclusive experience for busy knitters. As a member of Club KnitWit, you will get custom dyed yarns, a pattern you'll love that isn't available anywhere else, like this gorgeous Rumphius.
The Rumphius, yes.
The Rumphius. And other goodies to make you feel pampered. Plus, you'll get time with the designers and or the dyers to learn more about your special project. If you don't have time to search for your perfect project or the ideal colors to go with it, join us and we'll do the work for you. Once a quarter, you'll receive an exquisitely packaged gift to yourself. Club KnitWit is more than just a box that will arrive in the mail. Although, who doesn't love receiving fun mail?
Yeah.
It's also an experience. We'll be meeting up online and on Ravelry to share our progress and get to know one another. Spots are limited. Go to knitwitportland.com and click on subscription box to learn more and sign up today.
All right, so working on that Rumphius is definitely something I'm going to want to work on next.
Yeah.
I've started it,
Me
but
too.
you saw just that little bit. And it's so gorgeous and so soft. And the people who've gotten their boxes already have all had amazing things to say. So they're very
I
excited.
did. I loved it. I'm a member of Club KnitWit.
And
so
we
it's
will we'll do a live unboxing of everything that's in the box shortly here in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll tell you some of the story behind a few of the things. And if you join us before May 8th, we're going to have a live Zoom with Bristol Ivy, the pattern designer, and Rachel Jones of On the Round, who dyed those colors for us. So
they're
that is
amazing.
going to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
that's the community aspect of the club too. It's not just a box of yarn, which would be amazing too with those colors.
A box of yarn and other goodies.
Yeah, other goodies, stuff I would want. So, yeah, I'll be working on that next. How about you?
Yeah, I've got that on my list as well. I just
Awesome.
actually skeined up the main color of yarn today.
Awesome.
That's it. So I'm almost ready.
Yay. And then we had talked about my Pierre a few times.
Yeah.
But it's got me, like, I did that in a day. And he's so darn cute.
Yeah.
And I had started to do some amigurumi. That's what those little dudes are called when you crochet them. Amigurumi succulents with little faces. So I could have, like, flowers on my desk that I couldn't kill easily. I suppose I could, but my dogs probably could.
Yeah. Or the cats.
Yeah.
Snowball.
I don't know if she'd pull it apart. She's busy looking out the window right now. I guess we're okay on tech support.
Yeah. But a
I want
penguin
to get
is
back
a bird.
to my...
Sorry. Penguin is a bird.
Oh,
technically.
true.
Yeah.
But the succulents, you know,
Yeah.
you may not want.
Yeah.
But they're so cute.
Yeah.
I talked about that on the podcast a while ago. I'd started it and then, you know, got distracted with something else shiny. But now I
Yeah.
want to go pick it up again. So, what
Nice.
else are you wanting to make?
Right now, I'm thinking I really want to make another Mabel in the
Awesome.
same yarn, but different color.
Oh,
obviously.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
Make a different color, please, because that'd be weird.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see.
Cool.
We'll see.
Nice. And then I want to get back to work on my sock machine because there's lots of sock yarn I've been collecting over the years, and this would be a great way to use it up and get some more hand knit socks that don't squish my legs.
Yeah.
Because now that I've started wearing hand knit socks more regularly, I just don't like wearing any of my other ones. They're
Right.
just too squishy.
Yeah. I mean, socks that you didn't make yourself. Come on.
Yeah, right?
Who does that?
So highly recommend getting yourself a sock machine to go through all your fingering weight yarn. And then when you see more in the store and you're like, oh, those colors are gorgeous, you could be like, you could just whip up a pair of socks today.
To go through all the fingering weight yarn, like I like that concept because when I organized my yarn most recently, I was like, I'm gonna get into the weaving, which I am, and it will use up all my yarn. But you know, spoiler alert, no, you just end up buying more yarn.
Yeah.
So
That's okay.
it's a nice idea.
But, you know, those are all separate hobbies, like I say, that, you know,
Yeah.
knitting,
Collecting
weaving,
yarn,
buying yarn. They're all separate hobbies.
Yeah, I have
They're related, but
curating my yarn collection.
Yeah.
Is a
Perfect.
hobby.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. All right. I think that's all we had for what we want to work on next.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, let's just end up with some gorgeous shop talk here. As you can see on the screen, this is the On the Round plush singles that will come in your kit if you join Club KnitWit soon, before these are gone, because these won't be made again, this May box. And they just got sent out this past week, so you're not too late. And like I said, May 8th, we're going to have our Zoom with both the On the Round dyer, who created these colors for me, and with Bristol Ivy, who made the pattern. So we'll walk you through maybe some of the fiddly bits in the pattern too, because it's a pretty cool what is happening over there.
I gotta show how it goes with all the colors, how it
Oh,
contrasts.
okay.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's great.
You can't. The colors aren't quite coming
I
through
know.
correctly on that camera.
They're getting a bit washed out, but
Yeah.
they're amazing together.
Yeah, pinks,
Believe us.
purples,
Yeah.
creams, and this beautiful green.
Yeah.
All right, and so one more thing for the shop.
Yeah.
Our retreat is
Yes.
happening this summer again.
June 2024.
Yes, so we are getting close. Yeah, it's time to sign up if you want to join. Julie's busy getting us a delicious menu.
We're gonna have yummy, yummy food. We're gonna have great fun. We're gonna get to hang out with designers, with a
Yeah.
couple podcasters,
Yeah.
maybe some dyers.
Yeah, so, but Bristol will be there in case you're working on your Club KnitWit
Yes.
and you want to ask her a question. But she'll be teaching classes too. She'll be teaching, oh gosh, I always quiz myself on this. She'll be teaching a few classes on brioche and intarsia.
Yeah.
I think she's doing the two tricky ones.
Oh, and I'm gonna be able to show her my finished scarf. I mean, I'm sure she's seen a million of them, but yeah,
Which one?
my finished
Oh,
Bristol
the-
Ivy.
Yeah.
Why is it always beginning with
the
R?
fractal one that's not.
Yeah, the fractal
It's
one.
not fractal. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to show her the scarf. It is, for all that was 8 feet long, this one, if I fold it in half lengthwise, it's still taller than me. And I'm not that far short of 6 feet. Guys, it's ridiculous how big it is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I get to show her. Yay.
And Bristol will be, like I said, Bristol will be there. Casapinka will be there, and Alicia Plummer. So
yeah, great.
Some amazing designers and really fun humans too. So
Yes.
It will be great hanging out with them again.
It will.
And I can't wait to get back up to Searsport, Maine. We have Searsport Shores Campground is where it is held, and
it's if you were going to design a shoreside campground site for classes about knitting, this is what you would envision.
Yes.
It's like it flew out of our minds and existed.
Perfect.
Yes.
I think the retreat kind of came about because we were there for Fiber College.
Fiber College, I think.
Julie's like, this is where the retreat needs to be.
Yes.
And then the retreat just got built around it because it's perfect. It's
Recursive.
Recursive,
is the name of Bristol Ivy Shawl. I'm sorry, Bristol. I can never remember the name. Yeah. It's amazing, though.
All right.
Can't wait.
Well, I think that's it. Come to the end of another Main Yarn podcast.
Yes.
You can find the show notes at knitwitportland.com and click on the Main Yarn podcast box or button or wherever you can find it, or just search for it.
And thank you to our sponsor, KnitWit.
Yes, you're welcome. All right. Have a great month until we talk again. And I'll see you online. Watch our social media for our lives, unboxing, and more information.
And more fun to come from this.
So happy knitting, everyone. Bye.
Bye.